So many Real Madrid fans have been saying that Arda Guler has been underutilized and is rotting on the bench. And let me explain to you why I think that could be correct and could be incorrect. So Arda Guler was signed in 2023 for Real Madrid, and it was a big race to signing. Manchester City were interested, Barcelona, PSG, Juventus. There were many clubs that were interested in signing this player. And the reason being is because of his work in Fenerbahce. In Fenerbahce, he was so good. A great dribbler, good at finishing, good at passing, a playmaker. Such a good playmaker, and especially when he would play on that right side of the pitch, he was dangerous. Doing all of this at 17 years of age. And he was compared to David Silva, in which David Silva played very similar, or I should say, he plays very similar to David Silva with his runs, his passes, and a bit of his creativity. We can also see some similarities to Martin Odegaard, who plays for Arsenal. Similar type of player. He also played for Real Madrid, but he didn't make it in Real Madrid because his style didn't fit Real Madrid. Does that work the same for Arda Güler? I won't say anything too soon, because another comparison is Mesut Ozil, a very successful Real Madrid player, and in his time at Real Madrid, he was sensational. Now, I'm not saying that Guler plays the same as Ozil. Ozil had the creativity, had the great passes, but to me, when Ozil joined Real Madrid, he was not a teenager. He was not 20 years of age. He was already well into his mid-20s, so he had some experience, and therefore was better than when Arda Güler joined Real Madrid. So when he in fact joined Real Madrid, we were all excited. I remember how excited I was. All the Madridistas were saying, he's going to be the next gem, he's going to become a starter very soon. People even compared him to Modric. But unfortunately, in his first season for Real Madrid, he was hit with some massive injuries. He had a torn meniscus, and that was a terrible injury for him that kept him out for multiple months. He missed the entire half of the season due to this injury. But luckily, he came back in January, and he didn't pick up a single injury ever since. That is good, we're happy about that. And when he started to play, he wasn't given too much minutes, but whenever he had time to play, he was so good, impressive, and overall, at the end of the season, was a goal scoring machine. He scored 6 goals in about 5 or 6 games. It was insane actually how good he was and how fast he adapted to scoring in La Liga. And that is why people had such big expectations for him heading into this current season. People were saying he's going to head into the starting 11, and especially with his pre-season tour, people said he is going to be a starter this season. It might not even take a full season. But unfortunately, he suffers the same situation that he suffered in January of 2024. He barely plays any minutes. This season, I will say, he has had some starts, and he has impressed in my opinion, like the Leganes match. He played good in that game. He started a game against Liverpool, not too good in my opinion. And to be honest with you, he has shown some good play, some brilliance, but he has not impressed to a point where I'm going to say he should become a starter. And this leads us to the problem. What is the problem? Let me tell you what I think the problem is. And let's start off first of all with Carlo Ancelotti. So Ancelotti, in my opinion, should have given this guy some more minutes. He gave him next to nothing if you think about it. With how much Arda Guler has impressed in matches, you would think he would be coming up from the bench in games like Barcelona, Manchester City, Atletico, but he has not been trusted to play in such type of matches. And the problem to me is taking a player who is an attacking midfielder, which if you know anything about attacking midfielders, they are often some of the most patient players. Guler to me is a patient player. He needs some time before he can create magic. He needs that time. And you strip that time away from him when you put him on in the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes. To be honest, what can an attacking midfielder do in such a limited amount of time? So now you're taking a patient player and giving him such little minutes, which makes him impatient, and then he starts to rush his plays. And even though he has been rushing his plays, he still manages to do some good things in the matches. So partly to blame is Carlo Ancelotti and his managing of Arda Güler. But let's not get it twisted. Real Madrid fans and Arda Güler fans go at Ancelotti for not starting him. But let me tell you why he shouldn't be a starter. Because if you look at Real Madrid's team, it's not there to be built around this one player, one unproven player and one youngster. The team is built around the team. And what does Güler have to do? He has to fit into the team. And we've seen this with many players, talented players. We've seen Rodrigo do this. He's a left winger. But to fit into the team, he has to play the right wing. You saw Toni Kroos. He was a bit more of an attacking midfielder before he joined Real Madrid. But when he joined Real Madrid, this guy's position went further back. He played even CDM at times and became a deep-lying playmaker. We've seen Jude Bellingham go from a regular central midfielder to an attacking midfielder. So much so that people call him a striker. We've seen this even with Luka Modric at Tottenham. He did play central midfield, but he was more up the pitch than he is currently at Real Madrid. So you see, there is too much competition at Real Madrid in this moment for us to say Güler has to start, he has to be the center of attention, he has to be the player the team builds the team around. You can't say that. In a team with such amount of competition, so many egos, so many players who want to make the first name on the first team sheet. And to me, Güler has to improve. And I know that's crazy, who am I to say he has to improve? But for him to start at Real Madrid, who is the biggest club in the world, he is going to have to adapt. He has to become more versatile. You're seeing Valverde make shifts at right back. You're seeing Camavinga make shifts at left back. Güler, unfortunately, is going to have to be a bit more versatile. And what does that mean? He's going to have to defend some more. We have seen him improve his defensive displays in the season. And he has to be a bit more versatile in attack because he's a good central midfielder, a good attacking midfielder, and he can play on the right wing. And I would argue that the right wing is his best position. But what is the problem? The competition. He has to go up against Brahim Diaz at the right wing, Rodrigo at the right wing, and these are players that are far better in that position than he is because they are far more explosive, far more skillful, and just overall better in that position than him. Even if you look at the midfield is too good at the moment for Güler to play in. You have names like Jude Bellingham, Valverde, Eduardo Camavinga, Tchouameni, Denis Ceballos, Luka Modric. I don't see how Güler has been better than any of those players. But do you remember? Time is on his side. He's a youngster. He will eventually get into the starting 11. He just has to be patient. We've seen this with Valverde. He was on the bench for most of his Real Madrid career. Only in the past 2 or 3 years, he has become a starter. Eduardo Camavinga, he only became a starter in 2023. And the list goes on. So we just have to give him time. We have to be patient and not be upset every single time that he doesn't play. So those are my thoughts on the situation. What do you guys think? Tell me there in the comment section of your thoughts of Arda Guler's current situation. But up here's a new video. If you enjoyed, smash like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Peace.